Howdy folks, how are you? How's the sound? How's the lighting? Let me know. If you're autistic, get one of these spiked balls. They're really good for relaxing. Really, really good. Like, you can toss them up in the air, you can roll them down your arm, and when you like roll them in your hands, it feels like lots of fingers are massaging your hands. It's really, really nice. A barmaid in the bar that I live on top of gave me it. Anyway, so in today's stream we're going to be talking about my choices for the top 5 Disney fight scenes. Yeah, this was kind of tricky. This was a tricky one to do. It was kind of working out. Okay, what's a good fight scene to me? Yeah, it was a little difficult, especially when Disney fight scenes are a little different to like general Hollywood fight scenes. They're a little different, a little shorter, a little more compact. So you kind of working out what makes a good one is a little difficult. Very sorry to hear about you having COVID, by the way. COVID. Why do I pronounce it like COVID? Sorry, Evan. I hope you get well soon. Evan asks, Jambareeqi, what are you currently working on? I'm currently working on a Papa Panic review of George of the Jungle. I kind of had to put it on hold yesterday because I went for a family dinner. Saw my brother for the first time in 5 years in person. He moved away to Sri Lanka with his wife. Met his wife in person for the first time as well. So yeah, it was a really nice day. Had a really nice carvery dinner. Howdy Nick. Howdy like the smell of cheese. That's a great name. Sounds good. Kirst says, yeah, sounds good. I just performed in a show with a theatre company I recently joined. Wow, congrats. Should be very proud. Leo, sound and looks good, Jam. What's the... Oh, that's what the bull looks like. Yeah, this is what the bull looks like. You know, once, go look at it. It's basically a massage ball. It's just very, but it's very good for neurodivergents like myself. Like when my friend like told me about this, like she basically said, "Oh, it's a spiked ball. It makes me relax." I'm like, a spiked ball, but then when she gave it me, I couldn't let it go. It's like, yeah, it's been very helpful. Helps me to concentrate while watching things as well, because I get very easily distracted. But if I've got this, it's a nice little fidget, so it's relaxing and a good fidget as well. Highly recommend it. Okay, so I like the smell of cheese. Says, thanks, my name is indeed very wonderful. Oh, I'm glad you're proud of it. Kirst. Oh, there's about something else. Nick, I haven't been on Twitch for a while due to grown-up stuff holding me back and some emotional problems. I'm very sorry about that. Very, very sorry. I hope things get better for you. And I hope this stream. What's with my pronunciation tonight? This stream. I hope this stream cheers you up. I hope this stream cheers you up. Listy, Stone the Crows. I hope he doesn't go raving mad. I think Stone the Crows is actually the name of a shop that was in Sheffield for a while. I think that's what it was called. It's a very artsy shop. It's where I got... Hang on. I got a lot of stuff from there, but one thing I got is the statue of the Buddha. I got this from a shop called Stone the Crows. Yeah, helps my run be very relaxing. I don't particularly study Buddhism, but like I'm interested in it, and I sometimes meditate to my local Buddhist temple to kind of like just keep myself calm. So then she says I could do with one of those and maybe a stress ball. See, I've never really gotten a stress ball. I'm tempted though. After playing with the spike ball, I want to try with other fidgets now. Okay, yeah, I'm just catching up with chat. Sorry, I'm just trying to find where I'm in chat. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about my choices for the top 5 Disney fight scenes. Yes. We'll stop very, very soon. Evan, I'll be careful, Jambareeqi. You might end up joining a Buddhist cult. No, not all of Buddhism is about it's cultish. I've considered like Buddhist monkhood sounds really interesting. There's types of like Buddhist monkhood that's like really interested me, like that you can experience even for like a week or a month. I'm like, ooh, I might want to try that. Yeah, so let's go. Let's do this. Let's count this down. Okay, so what is? Oh, so I'm just gonna catch up with chat one more time. Nick says, I do enjoy your streams though, especially since some of my emotional struggles were caused by 3 other Twitch channels I used to follow. 2 of them just stopped streaming altogether, and one of them banned me. I'm very sorry about that. Okay, so number 5. Number 5 is. That's a weird order to do it. But yeah, number 5 is Jim versus Scroop in Treasure Planet. When Jim Hawkins goes up against Scroop. What I love about this fight scene is that it's not your typical back and forth battle. Scroop has the advantage of being able to crawl around fast. You can even crawl up walls and crawl up the ceilings. It's so creepy. But Jim is also aided by the flexible transformations of Morph, so he's got advantage himself as well. It's also awesome how Disney play around with the sci-fi effects and the lighting effects to keep the fight tense and imaginative. Like, most of the scene takes part in a red tinted ship interior where it's hard to read the surroundings. You've really got to kind of like, the shadows kind of play with your mind a little bit. This is made even scarier when the lights suddenly go off, only for Scroop to vanish once they come back on. Then Ben, the robot, accidentally switches off the gravity controls, and the fight just continues without any gravity as they climb up the ship. It's awesome. It's a creepy, intense, and creative fight scene that deserves more praise. It really does. It doesn't really get mentioned that much. So yeah, what do people think of Jim versus Scroop? Like the smell of she says, I like that fight. It made me more scared of spiders than I was when I was little. Oh, Leah, oh nice, giant spider boy. I don't know why I wrote it like that. Read it like that. Certain this out of context looks like a horror movie. It's kind of a horror. It's one of the Disney animated scenes that comes close to horror. It's almost like Ridley Scott's Alien in some sense. It's got that same kind of feel to it. Cursed. I watched the scene and I was so floored by the way Jim moved. It's almost photorealistic. It is. It really is. Like the way the camera pans around as well to take advantage of how you don't see much of the ship. It's just it is again. It's like Ridley Scott's Alien. It's using the same kinds of principles. It's kind of wild that they did that. Listy, it has shades of Xenomorph fights. Yes, from the Alien films. Yes, like I was saying, it's very much like Alien. Leo, I just love how out of all the crests that could have stayed on the ship, it had to be him. Oh, sorry, the crew. Yeah, it had to be him. Like all the other, I don't remember any of the crewmates being scary. So yeah, I get what you mean. And Nick says, this is a very spine-chilling sequence that really keeps you on the edge of your seat, especially given the way the rivalry between Jim and Scroop is established at the first half of the movie. Yes, that's a really good point. And the fact that we know that Scroop is willing to kill as well. So, like, he could kill Jim. He's not trying to hide anything, and he's not gonna, be soft on him. You know he would kill him. So that's what makes it scary as well. It almost feels like at home in a horror flick. Again, loads of great points about it being like it uses horror principles, and it feels so rewarding seeing Jim defeat Scroop after framing him for the death of Mr. Arrow. Yes, it is so satisfying seeing him finally die. It's kind of funny that like he dies because of Ben's incompetence with the gravity controls. So Alex Malachiv, it manages to be both thrilling and satisfying. That's what I like about the sequence. Yes. Oh yeah, and I love that heavy duty noise when the lights are turned back on. Yes. Again, it's a horror scene. It's making me think. I don't know if anyone's done this, but I'd love to do a video about how sometimes Disney animated films will utilize horror principles, because this scene is a really good example of that. It's kind of like almost shocking that they were like, okay, we're gonna base this slightly on Ridley Scott's Alien, and it's gonna be for kids. Yeah. Leo says, Even the way he said "cabin boy" was sinister as fuck. Yeah, he has. Evan, are you sure Scroop is dead, or is he just lost in space? Well, he's floating in space. He might as well be dead. Leo, especially cool how his death mirrors Mr. Arrow's almost exactly. It does. Yeah, that's a really good point. I like the smell of cheese. The spider still haunts my dream nearly 8 years later, to be honest. Whoa, wow. It really does say how hard they went with the horror for this scene. Nick, do say... Oh, he has a great line. Do say hello to Arrow. Tell him yourself. Oh, yeah. So yeah, that's my choice for number 5. That's my choice for number 5. So the only few moments I remember scaring me was the death of Clayton. We're gonna get to the other soon. So anyone that's new to my top 5 streams, save your favorites for the end once I've done mine. So like there's a nice little break between them both. Okay, so my number 4. What is my number 4? My number 4 of top 5 Disney fight scenes is Scar versus Simba. Yes, the appeal of this fight scene to me is how theatrical it all is. There's a fire blazing behind the fight, a smoky atmosphere, a crimson red sky. It all creates this epic backdrop for a dramatic climax to the film. The fight itself is also very physically brutal for Disney standards. When a lion punches another lion, you really feel how hard it's being thrown. What makes things even more awesome though is how the animators managed to create effective slow motion effects with the fight. They didn't just skip a bunch of frames. They went all out in making the footage really look like it was 2 lions beating each other up in slow-mo. It's awesome. I will admit that the fight is shorter than I remember, but Disney made great use out of that limited time. It's such a bold cinematic fight that it seems longer than it really is. Having Scar being eaten alive by the hyenas is a disturbing but fitting end to his reign as well. Simba refusing to lure himself to murder, but being totally happy for his uncle to be torn to shreds by his own minions. Yeah, pretty damn classic. What does everyone else think of this scene, this fight scene? Sorry. Leo, for that scene, that music. Oh, Hans Zimmer's music in the scene. I should have mentioned that. It's so good, so good. It's operatic. It's almost operatic. Like, yeah, it goes hard. I like smell cheese. The fight was the most epic thing when I first saw the movie when I was 9. Listy, I can't watch it because it just triggers flashbacks to hours of playing the final level of the Lion King game. Took me ages to realise I had to copy the film and throw it off the ledge. You got that far in the Lion King game? I don't think I ever got past the first level of the Lion King game as a kid. Well done. Cursed. I watched The Northman, and the more I think about the final battle of that film, seems lifted from the Lion King in a way. Shows how impactful the Simba versus Scar fight is. It really does. I like the smell of cheese. Hans Zimmer is what really elevates the scene. The music is fantastic. Yep, again, Evan, this is so much satisfying payoff for Simba getting his revenge. It is very satisfying. Matt Chat, Scar had one of the most brutal deaths in Disney history. I'd put his death on my list of top 5 most brutal Disney deaths. Yeah, I would as well. It's the fact you don't see him being eaten, kind of like, it leaves it in your imagination, and what you can picture in your head is probably 10 times worse than what Disney animators could have done for us. Nick, the scale and the theatrical impact behind it is what truly makes it one of the most beloved final battles in movie history, especially considering how the film took direct inspiration from Hamlet. Yes, again, it is very theatrical. It really is. Like, and I've seen live operas before in British theatres, and it's like this. It's got that same kind of oomph to it. Evan, just wondering, why does Zero think Simba killed Scar when it was the hyenas? That's something else entirely, mate. I'm not going to get into that. I just want to talk about the fight scene. I don't want to talk about the whole film. Yeah. So yeah, that's my choice for Simba versus Scar. Anyone else got any other points they want to make about this fight before I move on to my number 3 choice? Number 3. I know that I was kind of expecting more people to be like, what? This one at number 4? Because, yep, there are fights that I think are even better than this fight scene. Leo, Scar's death doesn't seem brutal at first. Then you remember the amount of power hyenas have in their jaws and how messy they can be. Yeah, Scar had met a gruesome end. Absolutely, definitely. Absolutely, yeah. Listy, kudos to Scar for putting up a decent fight, considering his body type makes him look like the live version of David Bowie. It's a very good way. It's kind of interesting because for most of the film he's been kind of cowardly, and like, yeah, even his murders, even his murder of Mufasa is a little cowardly in a way. So it's kind of awesome to see him. He's been pushed. He's had his moment of glory on the throne, and now it's going to be almost taken away. And so it's like, screw it, I'm going all out. Yeah. So let's move on to my number 3 pick. What is my choice for number 3? My choice for number 3. Will you go away? My choice for number 3 is Quasimodo versus Frollo from The Hunchback. Okay, so the thing that makes this fight so powerful to me is the whole emotional subtext of it all. Quasimodo has finally stood up to his abuser. He's accepting that his adopted father is really a monster, but he also has to protect his friend Esmeralda from a bloodthirsty villain now too. Like, we're cheering for Quasi for getting his courage finally against Frollo, but we're also terrified for him, for his and Esmeralda's lives. It's also interesting how the fight is a battle between an acrobatic bell ringer and a madman with a strong sword. That's kind of crazy when you think about it. Our hero is unarmed but can climb the environment with ease. The villain isn't very nimble but has a blade that can cut through said environment. So yeah, each of them have a disadvantage and advantage. Oh, and what also adds to the tension is the fact that Frollo is weakening Quasimodo's guard by dropping harsh truth bombs about his upbringing, and our hero is suddenly having to process these confusing feelings while in the middle of a fight, and he's like, what, that, my mum was this, that's what, you did that, what, it's crazy. The cherry on top of the whole fight is how Frollo's own religious self-righteousness gets the best of him. He's become so confident in his freedom to smite those he hates that he makes one little mistake and ends up falling into this hellish, fiery death. So what do people think of Quasimodo versus Frollo? I like the smell of cheese. Quasimodo was on another level of evil. Oh, okay. I didn't know we were joking, sorry. The Sojourners. Okay, this was awesome fight, but the best version is the lightsaber edit. There's a lightsaber edit? I want to watch that. Leo, oh god, that scene was epic. The heights and just how monstrous Frollo is in this scene makes it so scary. It is a scary scene. It really is. Considering what's at stake and what's below Notre Dame at that moment, it's like, jeez. Evan, Quasimodo vs. Frollo is even more personal than the previous choice. It is. It's very personal. It's an abuser versus his victim. And like, as someone that's gone through domestic abuse myself, I feel even more emotionally connected with this scene when I rewatch it. I like Smell of Cheese. Frollo is one of the best Disney villains in my opinion. I've actually been working on a project about my favorite Disney villains. I'm going to about it, but I'm struggling like hell with it. It's really hard to pick. Leo, like, he's ready to just dice them up like butcher's meat. He is. The way he handles that sword is horrifying. Like, he knows what he's doing with that sword, and he knows what kind of impact it can create. It's creepy. Match out. He says he shall smite the wicked and plunge them into the fiery pit, and then right after, that's exactly what happens to him. Yes. Leo, there are some parts of that film that on a second look turn your stomach due to the heights, that being one of them. Yeah, and I personally have like a big phobia of heights, so like that's another reason the scene's like, any other points people want to make? Oh, Nick says, as someone who loves Hunchback, I can confidently say that this is yet another cinematic final battle. I'm honestly shocked that it didn't get the attention it deserved when it first came out, because there's so much emotional weight behind it. Seeing Quasimodo finally stand up for himself and Frollo showing his true colours, and all of it is absolutely terrifying, but for all the right reasons. That's another really good point, is that up until this point, Frollo's been trying to keep up this whole kind of like holier than thou act And in this moment, that's all gone. Like, it doesn't care what about his reputation, doesn't care what... Everything's just burning around him. It's like, I just want to run and kill these people. It's terrifying. I like smell of cheese. The final battle of Hunchbacks just screams cinema. It does. Soda engines. Frollo by this point has snapped. He was ready to kill anyone who stands in his path. He has snapped. He really has snapped. And, like, it shows in his face, in the animation, and you can hear it in Tony J's delivery as well. Leo, even that one moment where he was just one swing away from literally decapitating Esmeralda, especially the position she was in as she was trying to pull Quasi up, like she was leaned on a chopping block. Yes, dang, that's a really good point. Smell Jesus Frollo equals Terminator. Nick, and this is especially terrifying for me personally, being a fellow Catholic myself. I can get it. So yeah, that's my number 3 pick. My number 3. Let's move on to my number 2. What is my number 2? My number 2 is, hey Dunn. My number 2 is Prince Philip versus Maleficent. Yes. Until I rewatched the scene for this stream, I never realized how amazing this battle is. There's just so much ferocity and tenacity on both sides. Maleficent is throwing all she can at our heroes with her magic and her minions. The Prince Philip and the fairies are fighting back just as hard. One moment you think that our heroes are on a roll, but then suddenly Maleficent unleashes even more hell on them. I also like that this is a team effort. Philip is the brave prince who is relentless in his quest to reach the princess, but the fairies deserve just as much credit for softening his obstacles and enhancing his sword's strength with their magic. They've never met before, but their shared love for the princess is what unites them into one. Of course, the best part of the fight is absolutely when Maleficent turns into a fire-breathing dragon. It's an iconic moment that embodies the spirit of classic fairy tale action storytelling, all while making the prince's closeness to the castle all the more tense. He's so close, but then there's this dragon in the way. Ah! So yeah, what do people think of Prince Philip versus Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty? Don't ask if they missed anything. We're on number 2 on the top 5, but it's okay if you want to see the others. This stream's going to be uploaded on my VOD channel, Jambareeqi Highlights. So Trenton says, I don't remember this movie, but the scene stands out. Leo, I love whenever I watch this movie with people thinking it was going to be a soft Disney musical, but then end up getting the wind knocked out of me by the brutality of the opening scene, the mother getting her head smashed against the ground, and sorry, you're talking about Hunchback from before, sorry, Twitch chat delays. So yeah, Leo's talking about Hunchback. I was kind of thinking, whoa, so when did that happen in Sleeping Beauty? Damn it, Twitch chat delay. So yeah, the mother getting her head smashed against the ground and Frollo ready to just drop a baby down the well. Yes, Hunchback is very, very dark. Emphasis, while this scene is very cinematic and the dragon is awesome, there's absolutely no tension because we don't give a shit about what will happen. I guess. I mean, like, I don't remember being that in terms of the subtext, I wasn't that invested, but when you look at it as an action scene, I feel like it trumps all the others that I've mentioned before. Just in terms of staging, blocking, and imagination, creativity, it's a great action scene. Leo says, "Oh, I have a hard time of describing this scene, but it's just the atmosphere, the bold colours and the sharp shapes, the instruments that act as sound effects, like the cymbals acting as the snapping of the dragon's jaws. Yes, oh yes, absolutely. I kind of miss that style of instrumental score when it comes to Disney films. Match out the music and the way it builds as awesome as the intense colour palette with the green flames is awesome. Done. This scene was awesome, and everyone's saying it is very awesome. Yeah, sorry, done. This scene was awesome, and I think it was the first film to show blood. I can't remember there being blood. When was the blood? Remind me. Listy, he also actively kills it. It's not often a goodie actually attacks in Disney. They're usually on the defensive, and the death comes from falling or a mistake, but Phil goes stabby. Yes! I noticed that as well. I think they try to soften it with, like, magic coming out, but, like, it's a stab. We see it. Soda Engines. I only saw Sleeping Beauty and being bored by the film, but when the final act is awesome. It is. I'd say the final act is probably the best part of the film. It really is. It's the most exciting part, at least. Nick, it's been a few years since I last watched Sleeping Beauty, but I do remember the battle between Phil and Mel. It's kind of funny when I know that it's really his name, but calling him Phil Our hero, Phil. What you think about it's kind of funny. It only sounds a bit more regal when you say Philip. Phil. Hello, I'm Phil. I'm going to stop this dragon. Okay, mature. Between Phil and Maleficent being absolutely gorgeous, especially considering how old the movie is and how powerful and dangerous Maleficent is, really makes you concerned for Phil's safety, and you really want him to come out on top so we can wake Aurora up. I like the smell of cheese. I'm just surprised by how big in size this final battle was, considering that this was still decently early in Disney's career. That's what really surprised me as well, rewatching. I was like, dang, they went all out with this scene. They really did. It's amazing how ambitious the scene is. Yeah. Done. It reminds you of St. George and the Dragon. Yeah, I get what you mean. Evan, did you know that Maleficent's death scream is this exact same one from the Evil Queen? Oh, I didn't know that. Listy, Philippe. The surgeons. I'm going to be calling every Prince character Phil from now on. Nick, it's actually pretty funny referring to him as Phil. I'm laughing about it. Why is it so funny? I think it's because it's just such an average name. I think there should be a prince called Keith. Or Bob, or Dave, or something. I like the smell of cheese. If they ever do a remake Sleeping Beauty in live action, I hope Disney don't screw up the final battle. The closest they've done is Maleficent. That's the closest they've done so far. But I don't remember what... I don't think it was even... the fight... Yeah, it's been a while since I saw Maleficent. Let's see. Prince Charming is really called Dave. I've decided it's canon. Prince Dave. What is wrong with me? But yeah, any other thoughts people have on Phil versus Maleficent? I don't know the smell of cheese. Dave is the best prince. Leo, Prince Jim. Nick, also did you know that Maleficent's actress also voiced Lady Tremaine in Cinderella? Yes. There's quite... They won't really like to use a lot of the same actors again and again. So like the lot of recurring cast members. Prince Terry. Why does that sound familiar? Prince Terry sounds like it's a real thing. Prince JJ. That sounds like a 90s remake of a Disney film. Yo, I'm Prince JJ. I'm here to save the princess. I'm fresh. Sarah Jones, he's cool but badass, and his name is Prince Phil. We need to move on from Prince Phil. I'm just gonna be laughing the whole stream. Okay, I'm now going to be revealing. Right, stop with the Prince Phil jokes, everyone. I'm now gonna reveal my #1 pick for the best Disney fight scene. I'm gonna allow you to guess. Which do you think it is? What is your guess? What do you think I would have picked? It might be an easy guess. It might be. But I'm kind of curious what people will... yeah. Big Hero 6. Listy says Ratigan versus Basil. Soda Anderson says, Nick says Errol and Prince Eric versus Ursula. Evan, Tarzan versus Clayton. Tarzan. Wow. Why am I pronouncing things so weird today? Liv says, I'd say Ratigan. The Soda Rangers let me think. Kurt says Ratting versus Basil. A lot of fewer people have their guesses. Gaston versus Beast. So what's my #1 pick? Ooh. I'm gonna be playing with the tension. My #1 favorite Disney fight scene is Basil vs. Ratigan from The Great Mouse Detective. A couple of you kind of got it right. Yeah, well done. Okay, so this fight scene is so damn cool. I love how it makes full use out of the Big Ben for its confrontation. The turning gears in particular are cleverly utilized to create this torture device-like environment for these rodents. It's especially heart-racing when little Olivia is almost crushed by one gear. The harsh weather also helps to create this cinematic mood for the whole fight as well. With the tough raining falling hard and the lightning crashing above London's giant clock tower. It's one of the best uses of a thunderstorm I've ever seen in a Disney finale, honestly. It's also terrifying how unhinged Ratigan becomes in this scene. This is a villain who has been deeply, deeply obsessed with being seen as a classy and dignified rodent, going as far as being offended at being called a rat. Then, once he begins to realize that he's losing against Basil, his greatest nemesis, he begins to just lose his own composure. And he abandons his upper-class persona and becomes this monster who walks on all fours. His scratches towards Basil are also surprisingly violent for Disney animation. I think what I love the most about this fight, though, is how much of a challenge it is for Basil. Sure, there's other Disney films where hero mice have to fight bigger baddies, but this one feels like the biggest in a sense, in terms of scale. Not the size of the opponent, but like the scale of the fight. Heck, Basil isn't even built for fighting. He's a science nerd and a criminal psychologist. Yet here he is, battling his ultimate rival, and his rival is at his most strong and feral. It's the very definition of great animated action cinema to me. So yeah, what do people think? Leo, oh, this scene was just another fucking level. Soda Engines, this scene is just Jesus. Listing, I knew it. I love how your foul little man works. Evan, I love how Ratigan finally goes full beast rat mode in this finale. Yep. Cursed, it's so brutal, and it builds and builds and never lets up. The actual fight is so violent I almost flinched. I like the smell of cheese. For a battle of rats, I'm surprised how tense-filled this fight is. Listy, also really nice, also nice early use of CGI in this clockworks. Yeah, honestly, to think that like those gears, those clockwork gears, are CGI, is crazy, because you gotta remember that where CGI was at that point in the 80s, to think they were thinking, okay, we're gonna have this whole fight sequence set in a CGI environment. Whoa, whoa, and it pays off. You look back and it's like, that looks like CGI for a hand-drawn film you would see today. It's so good. So damn good. Leo, I don't think anyone could ever do a cooler scene inside Big Ben's clock tower. Like, no matter the film, nothing will top how it was used here. Yeah, absolutely. Sojourns, I heard the name Basil, I just think of Basil Fawlty. No, I get it. Basil! Matt Chat, it's brilliant how they managed to make it look so painful without blood. Yes! That's a great point. It's bloodless, but it looks like it's way more violent. It really does. Nick, okay, this might actually be the scariest final fight in the Disney movie, mostly because of Ratigan showing his true colours as an unhinged monster, coupled with the rainy setting and the brutal attack sound effects that sounds like the character should be bleeding from it. Yes. Listy, not gonna lie, Basil is kind of hot here. No, I get it. No. Yeah. I don't know why I keep forgetting to put Basil in my Cartoon Crushers tier lists. I don't know. No, I get it. Evan, do you think this climax is the best part of the movie? I don't know. I feel like collectively the whole film's great. I can't... It's definitely the most exciting, I'll give you that. Sojourns, I love this scene. I love this scene. He's just snaps and goes all out. No gloves, no playing around. He's just out for blood. Leo, I love how we were teased just slightly that Ratigan had a temper, but no one expected it to be that scary. Yes, like throughout the film you can kind of see he's like, ooh. But in the finale he just goes, the way that the camera kind of like goes into his face when he just blows is kind of terrifying in a way. I like the smell of cheese. Ratigan has temper issues. Yep. Sojourns, I'm pretty sure they took some inspiration from the Lupin the Third movie. I think you're talking about Castle of Cagliostro, because there are many Lupin the Third movies. But yes, I think Castle of Cagliostro came before Basil, but I can't remember. But I don't know how much influence it had on Disney. I don't know. Like, was a good showcase for why Vincent Price was such perfect casting for Ratigan. Yes, yeah, definitely, yeah. I like the smell of cheese. Prince Ratigan, stop it! Stop with the funny prince names. Leo, between Ratigan and the one from Lady in the Tramp, what is with early Disney and making rats absolutely terrifying? yeah. Listy, it's a very Mr. Hyde reveal to his character. Yes, it is. It's got that feel to it, yeah. Sojourns, that damn bat was the king of jump scares. Evan, the Ratigan tease is kind of similar to that of Muffle Goffle. Sort of, kind of. Dunn says they love their fight. Sojourner says, yeah, that's what I mean. I like the smell of cheese. What was with Disney movies making me scared when I was younger? It's kind of interesting because, like, it's not like the dark side has vanished from Disney, but I feel like 80s Disney films, that was their peak of, like, going all dark. And I feel like Great Mouse Detective is, like, really good example of that. I feel like that's where the film's got the most, ooh, you're a kid's movie, right? You're still a kid's movie, right? Done. It felt gory and intense, especially Rattigan getting red in the eyes. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so that's my number one pick. Before I head off, I'd like to know from all of you, what is your number one favorite fight scene in a Disney animated film? Let me know in chat. Let me know. I'm very curious. So James says, I kind of miss the intensity in Disney movies. Yeah, that intensity is, like, you can still kind of see it in 90s, but I feel like towards the 2000s, it kind of, it's not like it's gone, but it's like, it's just less there, I've noticed. Leo, it was like an American Werewolf in London minus the blood. Yes, that's a good analysis of the Rattigan fight. Yeah, definitely. I like the smell of cheese. My favourite was probably Simba vs. Scar. The music alone makes the sequence amazing. Soda Engine's Clayton vs. Tarzan. Let me know why it's your favourite fight scene as well, by the way, folks. So Soda Engine's, why is Clayton vs. Tarzan your favourite? I found it, it's it's probably one of the shorter fight scenes, and I feel like it's not really a fight, it's more Clayton's own incompetence. That's what I realised. Tarzan doesn't really have to do anything, really. Listy, I mentioned it offhand, but I do like the Todd versus Bear, especially the stakes involved. He's saving his enemies. Nick, I immediately can't decide what my favourite final fight in a Disney movie is. There are a lot of really good ones out there, but it's hard to say what my favourite is. No worries. Leo, honestly, I agree with thee that Rattigan was one of something else, but I love the train fight from Oliver, and the aforementioned one with Tramp versus Rat. I found those the most evocative. Yeah, they were close to being on my top 5, honestly. Yeah, they were. Again, this was a really, really hard top 5 to do, because there's so many great fight scenes in general in Disney films. That's the main thing I got from the research. My research was like, wow, sometimes with these fight scenes, they went all out. Even though their branding is like wholesome, cute, some fight scenes are really, really kind of darken for some of their films, and really do pay off. Leo, Fox the Hound was brilliant too. I swear their older films are just more brutal in their climaxes. Yeah, again, 80s Disney films, like, man, whew, they can get kind of grim. Don, Cruella versus Dalmatians. Nick, I do have some honorable mentions though. Ariel versus Ursula, Milo versus Commander Rourke, Hercules versus Hades, Kuzco and Kronk versus Yzma, and Aladdin versus Jafar. Yeah, these all... Okay, so can somebody... I'll take care of this. How do I forgot I even have to ban on this thing. Oh, blooming heck, I forgot. Oh, there it is. There's the ban. They're banned. Okay, so Leo, it took me years to figure out what happened to Clayton, thinking he just fell. My eyes were always to Tarzan's side of the screen, so I spent years not seeing he was hanged. I was like, Jesus Christ, yeah, it is kind of like, whoa! It's kind of crazy. Sojourner Rangers, I also remember the final fight and Atlantis standing out, loads of explosions going off left and right, and sent to just this weak guy going against the man who probably has more combat skills and ready to kill. Those screams still haunt me. Yeah, okay, I'm probably give that scene another shot. The way you're describing it, I'm thinking, actually, yeah, yeah. Okay, see, anyone else got a favorite Disney fight scene they want to talk about? Let me know about before I head off. Oh, by the way, quiz topic for this week, Twitch quiz topic for this week is dinosaurs. Yeah, it's kind of like a little different to usual quizzes, because like it's not really about media. It's kind of a bit more about history and science. But yeah, Nick, you might have skipped another thing I just said. So Nick says, wait, did I say Kronk? I meant to say Pacham. Kronk was stuck in that trapdoor room most of the time. Evan, was the scene at the climax of Lane Tramp, or was it when Trusty saved Tramp? I can't remember, sorry. Evan, I heard that Commander Rourke could win Squid Game. Probably. But at the same time, he lets greed get the best of him. So instance that, and I have a big soft spot for Atlantis. Listed, Robin Hood, sword fighting in a burning castle, awesome. Matt Chat, the Queen versus the Dwarfs for Disney's first movie was pretty intense, and the Queen's death was brutal. Right, okay, I better head off now. Got more work to do. I'm very, very busy. I'm trying to... Basically what's happened, because I had a really kind of like traumatic April where it was just crap after crap after crap, I didn't really get much done. So I've had to spend most of May and most of June even catching up. So there's a lot of late videos at the moment, trying to catch up, trying to get back on track, because I really would like way more space in my schedule. Anyway, hope you're well, hope you're happy, hope you're smiling, hope you have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time it is for you, and cheery.